You've been told all your life that dreams take years to manifest, that you need to work harder, stay patient, and trust the process. But what if I told you the reality you dream of isn't waiting to be built? It's already here, not tomorrow, not in some distant future. Right here, right now. The only reason you can't see it is because you've been looking through the wrong lens. This isn't just a pretty motivational quote. This is a radical shift in how reality actually works. Every single possibility that could ever exist already exists. The life where you're successful, loved, free, and living on your terms, it's not some faraway fantasy. It's already happening on another frequency. And the moment you understand how to tune into that frequency, everything changes. Think of it like a radio. If you're tuned to one station, you only hear that music. But that doesn't mean the other stations stop broadcasting. They're still out there, playing their songs, filling the air. You just aren't tuned in. Your dream reality is the same way. You don't have to build it from scratch. You have to align with it. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think reality is solid, fixed, and unchangeable. They believe they need to earn or fight for their dream life. But the truth is more subtle, more powerful. Reality is fluid. It's like a mirror, and what you project onto it determines what you see. When you project lack, fear, doubt, and hesitation, the mirror reflects those exact frequencies back. But when you project certainty, alignment, and vision, reality has no choice but to reflect that too. Let me give you a simple example. Have you ever decided to buy a specific car, and suddenly you start seeing that exact car everywhere? It's not that everyone suddenly bought that car overnight. Your awareness shifted. You tuned in. That car was always there, but now your brain filters allowed it in. Your dream reality works the same way. You don't have to force it into existence. You have to perceive it. And perception is power. But to shift perception, you must first break free from the invisible prison of your current frequency. The unconscious patterns, limiting beliefs, and emotional loops that keep you stuck in the same timeline over and over again. This is why so many people work hard and still feel stuck. They're pushing against a locked door, not realizing the door opens inward. The moment they stop pushing and turn the handle, the reality they desire reveals itself. That's the paradox. The harder you chase your dream, the further it seems. But the moment you align with it, it begins chasing you. Alignment isn't about blind optimism. It's about emotional resonance. Your subconscious is like a tuning fork. It vibrates at a specific frequency and reality responds to that vibration. When your internal state and your desired reality are mismatched, you experience resistance, delay, and frustration. When they're aligned, the world rearranges itself in ways that seem impossible. Have you ever had a moment where something you deeply desired showed up effortlessly, as if it was waiting for you all along? That wasn't luck. That was alignment. That was your perception finally catching up with what already existed. Right now, you might be living in a version of reality where things feel heavy, where your goals seem distant. But parallel to this moment, another version of you is already living the dream, already walking into rooms with confidence, already doing the work you love, already free. The only question is, will you stay tuned to the old frequency or step into the one that's been waiting for you all along? And stepping into it doesn't mean faking it till you make it. It means becoming the frequency of what you want before it physically shows up. Because once your internal state shifts, the external world has no choice but to reflect it. This is the doorway. And it doesn't open with effort. It opens with awareness. You might be wondering, if my dream reality already exists, why can't I just step into it right now? The answer isn't about working harder. It's about seeing differently. Your current reality is shaped by an invisible map in your mind. That map was drawn years ago, by experiences, emotions, beliefs, and stories you accepted as truth. That map is what you're navigating, even if the destination you truly want lies far beyond it. Here's the catch: your brain isn't wired to show you reality. It's wired to show you what it expects to see. It filters, edits, deletes, and reshapes the world so it matches your beliefs. If your internal story says, "I'm not good enough," the world will reflect back reasons why that feels true. If your story says, "I can't have that," the opportunities that prove you wrong will pass unnoticed. Not because they're not there, but because your filter isn't letting them in. This is why so many people feel stuck in repeating patterns. They're trying to create a new reality using the same filter that built the old one. They're trying to build a palace on the same foundation that barely held a shack. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The key isn't to force reality to shift. It's to change the filter. When the filter shifts, the world that's always been around you starts to look different. New doors appear where you once saw only walls. Possibilities reveal themselves where you once saw dead ends. Think of how a sunrise feels different when you're in a good mood versus when you're weighed down by fear. The sunrise didn't change. You did. Your frequency colored the way you experienced the same event. That's the power you have. You don't control the sun, but you control the lens through which you see it, and that lens shapes your world more than you realize. But awareness alone isn't enough. To step into your dream reality, you must match the emotional frequency of the version of you who already lives there. That means feeling the certainty before the proof, experiencing the joy before the outcome, walking with the confidence of someone who has already arrived. This is where most people trip. They wait for proof before they believe. But reality doesn't work that way. Belief isn't the result of seeing. It's the key to seeing. Imagine this: there's a door in front of you. Behind it is the version of your life you've been craving, but the door only opens when your vibration matches what's inside. If your energy is doubt, fear, or lack, the door stays locked. Not because you're not worthy, but because the frequencies don't align. When you tune into the frequency of certainty, of trust, of already having it, the lock melts away. This isn't some mystical, unreachable concept. You've already experienced it in small ways. Remember the moments you knew something good was coming, even without evidence, and it arrived. That wasn't coincidence. That was resonance. The world mirrors your state. When you shift inside, the outside follows. And here's where it gets powerful. You don't need to control every detail of how your dream reality unfolds. You only need to control the frequency you emit. That frequency becomes a magnet, pulling in the people, situations, and opportunities that match it. It's like setting a GPS. You don't have to build every road yourself. You just have to set the destination and keep moving in alignment with it. The problem is, most people keep resetting their GPS with every doubt they entertain. They say they want abundance but vibrate with scarcity. They say they want love but vibrate with fear of being alone. They say they want freedom but vibrate with self-doubt. And the mirror of reality reflects that split frequency. Confusion, delay, chaos. When you become unwavering in your internal alignment, when your emotional state and your desired outcome speak the same language, the universe rearranges itself in ways your logical mind could never plan. Doors swing open. People appear out of nowhere. Opportunities collide with perfect timing. That's not magic. That's alignment in action. The only thing standing between you and that alignment is the identity you've been defending. That voice in your head that says, "This is just who I am." But who you are isn't fixed. It's a story, and stories can be rewritten. The moment you stop defending the old identity, the new one has room to step in. Your dream reality is waiting for that version of you. Not the one doubting, not the one chasing, but the one remembering. The one who already knows it's real. The one who doesn't ask how, but simply says Wes. But close your eyes for a moment and imagine that version of you. Not as a fantasy, but as a living, breathing presence. Feel how they stand, how they breathe, how they look at the world. That version isn't separate from you. It is you, just a frequency away. This is where the shift begins, not outside but within, and once it clicks, it's irreversible. The moment you realize your dream reality already exists, everything changes. You stop chasing, you stop waiting, you start aligning. And alignment isn't passive. It's an active, conscious state where your thoughts, emotions, and actions work together like a finely tuned orchestra. No more scattered energy. No more trying to push the river. You become the current. Let's break down what that actually feels like. At first, your old identity will try to fight back. The mind loves the familiar, even if the familiar is uncomfortable. So when you begin to align with your dream reality, your brain might whisper, "This is unrealistic. Who are you to want this?" Or, "You've failed before." These whispers are not truth. They're echoes of the old frequency, trying to keep you in the timeline where it's in control. But here's the secret: those whispers lose power the moment you stop arguing with them. Resistance feeds them. Detachment dissolves them. When you hear those doubts and choose not to obey, something powerful happens. The grip of your old timeline weakens, and your new one begins to stabilize. You stop living from memory and start living from vision. Your dream reality isn't something you force. It's something you remember. Deep down, your soul already knows what it feels like to live that life. That's why it pulls at you. That's why the vision won't leave. You're not making it up. You're remembering something real. Every time you act in alignment with that vision, Whether it's through your thoughts, emotions, or choices, you anchor it into your physical world. This is why action matters, but not in the way most people think. Action isn't about proving your worth. It's about embodying the version of you who already has what they want. When you act from lack, your actions carry desperation. When you act from alignment, your actions carry power. The same step, the same move, can have completely different outcomes depending on the energy behind it. Think about someone who walks into a room with quiet confidence. They don't need to announce their worth. It radiates. That energy creates openings, builds connections, and shifts dynamics without them forcing anything. That's the power of being in the frequency of your dream reality. You become magnetic. Opportunities find you. Conversations open doors you didn't even know existed. It feels almost too easy. But that ease isn't weakness. It's alignment doing the heavy lifting. And here's something many people overlook. You don't have to eliminate every doubt or fear to align. You only have to stop letting them run the show. Your dream reality doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be consistent. Consistent in choosing the vision over the noise. Consistent in embodying the frequency of your future self even when nothing around you seems to match it yet. Reality always lags behind vibration. Like a shadow that follows the body, the physical world takes a moment to catch up to what's already real within you. Most people give up in that gap. They plant the seed, water it for a while, then doubt when it hasn't sprouted overnight. But those who understand alignment don't wait for signs. They are the sign. They hold the vision with steady hands until the world has no choice but to reflect it. Every day, you have a choice to stay tuned to the frequency of your current timeline, or to tune into the frequency of your dream reality. It's not a one-time decision. It's a practice. It's the moment you wake up and decide to breathe like your future self would breathe, think like they would think, walk like they would walk, speak like they would speak. The more you embody that state, the less separation you feel between here and there. Eventually, the line blurs. The gap closes. What felt like a dream becomes the ground beneath your feet. And when it happens, it doesn't feel like something arrived from the outside. It feels like you finally stepped into what was always meant for you. This is why the phrase, "Your dream reality already exists," isn't poetic fluff. It's a precise description of how consciousness shapes experience. You are not creating something new. You're selecting what already exists and bringing it into focus through the lens of alignment. And when you understand this deeply, fear loses its grip. Doubt becomes background noise. You stop begging reality to change, and you become the change that reality mirrors. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you shift into your dream reality, you'll realize it was never about the external things. Yes, they'll come. The success, the love, the freedom. But the real treasure is the internal shift. The knowing that reality bends to your frequency, not the other way around. That power can't be taken away. You've carried this power your whole life. You just forgot how to see it. And now you're remembering. This is your invitation to step into the frequency that's been calling your name from the very beginning. Not tomorrow. Not when everything is perfect. Now. Because the moment you align, the reality that's been waiting patiently for you finally steps forward to meet you.